Black rail in New Jersey at this point is a little bit of a ghost. This species is very, very hard to detect. They are extraordinarily small, only about 3 to 4 inches long. They have absolutely beautiful coloring. They're black and kind of a charcoal color, a little bit of reddish. They have these beautiful red eyes, but those field marks don't really matter because you're never gonna see a black rail out in the habitat. As you can see, night has fallen. This is one of the best ways that we can go out and listen for black rail because we ain't gonna see black rail. They are very, very difficult to locate, and the only way we can really survey for them is by ear. So we have 2 different ways that we survey for black rail. One is what we're gonna do tonight. We're gonna go out and do our call playback surveys. We're gonna go out, we are gonna play tape, we're gonna play a black rail call and try to fire up any individuals that are in the habitat so that we'll be able to hear them. What we're gonna do is just listen for it. The second way that we're surveying for black rails is using acoustic recording units. These are passive recorders that we put out into the marsh habitat that just listen for the birds. Raoul is spending the entire spring going out to some of the most remote areas that we have in southern New Jersey, along the Delaware Bay Shore and the Atlantic coastal marshes. He's going out and placing the ARUs in this high marsh habitat, and then he has to maintain these units by changing their batteries, changing the flashcards, making sure that they are properly operating in a very harsh, dynamic environment. He's doing that on a weekly basis, day in, day out. Doesn't matter how hot it gets, how sticky it gets, how buggy it gets. He is going to be out there collecting that data and letting those units be the ears for us. When all of that acoustic recording unit data is collected, it comes back on flashcards, which we bring back into our computers, and then we have staff like our Raoul, who is able to go through and start analyzing that using software that is designed for this purpose. Black rail, as with everything with black rail, is especially difficult. The sounds of their calls are gonna be very hard to find in those spectrograms, but spending an entire season collecting that data and then analyzing it is one of the really important things that our seasonal staff is undertaking and helping us with. Black rail is probably one of the most endangered species that we have in the state, and we're pretty lucky that it's still with us. The numbers are getting extraordinarily low, and this is from a variety of factors, including changes to wetlands that have happened over many decades. And now with accelerating sea level rise, we're seeing that their habitats are getting inundated on a much more frequent basis. So what can we do about that? One of the things and one of the goals of our surveys is to find where black rails still remain in the state. Because one of the things that we can do are restoration projects. And what we want to do is place those restoration projects near a source population to have the best chance that we can that those black rails are going to come in and use those habitats that we're going to create for them.